All right, Rick, thank you very much. It has been a long year, but all 14 teams of the Big Ten are back in Indy and hungrier than ever. And here we go. The 12-seed Northwestern Wildcats have the first possession. Rob Riley, Bo Borowski, Larry Serrato, the officials, as Miller Kopp gets us started with a missed 15-footer. These are the same two teams we saw last year on the opening night in the first game. And then, of course, we would never get to day 2 because of the coronavirus pandemic.
Defense doing its job there, Brandon. You want to force Minnesota to shoot over the top. They're the worst shooting team from the three-point line in the conference.
Knocked out of bounds, it will belong. Sean, that's going to be something to track because obviously with Gabe Kalsher out, they're less of an effective three-point shooting team. But not only are they last in the conference, Sean, they're 341st in the country in three-point shooting.
And sometimes guys will say, I was open. Many times there's a reason you're open. And you have to, sometimes you have to take what the defense gives you, and sometimes you have to force the issue.
Well, Curry was open because he's only a 4 of 18 shooter this year from beyond the arc, and he misses there. Last year in this game, it was Minnesota getting the victory. But 5 days ago, it was Northwestern with the win over Minnesota in the regular season play, as both teams starting out cold here.
Nice pass.
Underneath and a foul that will send Brandon John practice. He has a history of issues with it, but he's been battling through it. However, he misses both at the line, and we remain scoreless.
And the last time out, outstanding game for Brandon Johnson. A double-double in the losing effort versus Rutgers.
Yeah, 19 and 11 as Audy slips down to the ground. And we've got a tie-up. We will be heading not riding that 3-game winning streak.
And during that 3-game winning streak, the balance has really been on display. Last time out for Northwestern versus Nebraska, 6 players in double figures. During that losing skid, you might have one guy that had a productive evening, but never multiple.
In 18 seasons since way back in the 02-03 campaign.
02-03 may seem like a long time to you. Seems like yesterday to me, Brandon.
That foul, by the way, was on Audy.
Nice show there by Nance.
The freshman Jamal Mashburn Jr. dragged that pivot foot. First time, really, that they played in front of fans this year. Now, there aren't many, but there are some here, so it's a little bit of a different feel. And also a different shooting background. There's not a wall behind here. This is really probably the first time these teams, especially this year, have shot in such an environment. And because of the tight turnaround here, probably didn't have a chance to get in here much, if at all. Yeah, the first time they put up shots was an hour before the game. Pass inside and another turnover. So these two teams combined 0 of 5 from the floor with 3 turnovers here in the first 2.5 minutes. Johnson loads it up from the corner. No. Offensive rebound, Curry.
Nice job by Curry of not trying to force it. Kick it back out for the fresh 20.
Carr, there's the leading scorer, gets his own miss, and he's got the first bucket of the Big Ten tournament.
And the other thing that you can notice, Brandon, these rims are calibrated differently. They're a little bit tighter. You can hear it when the ball hits that rim. They're calibrated a little bit differently than these guys are accustomed to.
Now you can hear it, and you might have heard something else there as Nance misses on the bunny. And Williams knocking it down from 3. So back-to-back buckets, 5-0 Minnesota. Kopp from NBA range off the right side.
That's from the old Market Square.
On the baseline, Mashburn can't get it, knocked out of bounds. We head the other way. Here's our first
from three-point range.
When these two teams met February 25th in that Northwestern victory, Minnesota jumped out to a 17-3 lead. Chris Collins says, I don't want to spot them points again, but so far he spotted them 5. Barry tried to change that. He's short.
And Minnesota in that ball game, 4 of 27 from 3, 9 of 10 from the line. So you know it's going to be a concerted effort to get something going toward the rim.
Carr picks it up, drops it off. Johnson does the rest.
That'll loosen the rim.
Two-hand jam, 7-0 Minnesota. Northwestern is 0 of 6 from the floor. Ryan Young, 2 defenders there. Bowie, who's been playing much better, but his first shot way too much and out of bounds.
Kind of trying to feel their way offensively. Getting those extra possessions with the hustle plays has certainly been to the advantage of Minnesota thus far.
And Northwestern 0 of 7 from the floor and 2 turnovers in their first 9 possessions of this game.
And now you've got Anthony Gaines with the assignment of Marcus Carr, trying to switch up and get a fresh defender, give Audige a rest.
Johnson, couple of jab steps. Williams, another offensive rebound for Minnesota.
If you're Northwestern, that can't happen, Brandon, because you want them to shoot outside. You have to complete the possession.
Booth Gotch, drive and kick. And stepping on the sideline, or travel rather, all connected devices. Richard Pitino, who 2 years ago took his team to the semis of the Big 10 tournament as the 7th seed. And made the NCAA tournament, and now many think maybe coaching for his future here in this year's Big 10 tournament after a rough ending to the season. Young down inside. Up with a right hand and no good. 0 of 8 for Northwestern.
Nice job by Freeman of walling up. Job. Put your shoulder to the rim, Brandon.
That's another guy, Sean, with the injuries, and Freeman, who's been playing meaningful minutes these last handful of games.
And Northwestern going to a little bit of a zone defense to try to help on the rebounding as well as force Minnesota to shoot over the top.
Jamal Mashburn Jr. off to a cold start, 0 of 2. And a bad pass. The freshman Ty Bear.
With which to feed Young, but that was just an unforced error. Fortunately for Northwestern, it was not of the live ball variety.
Almost a turnover, but Carr was able to save it. Marcus Carr with 5 on the shot clock. He's got the freshman on him. Backs up. Misses the 3. Rebound comes down to Gaines.
Nice job defensively by Northwestern. Poor job by Minnesota of attacking the seams either with a dribble drive or a flash to the high post.
But over 6.5 minutes in this tournament, and Northwestern yet to score a point. Ryan Greer, who rarely scores, more of a facilitator. He'll drive inside, float it up. He says, shut up, Brandon. I'll show you I can score the basketball.
Nice job by Greer of making the proper decision. He didn't take that extra dribble to allow the shot blocker to come over, and Greer's in there right now because they've struggled taking care of the basketball. That is not an issue for Greer. He's very secure.
Yeah, last 2 games, 27 minutes, 6 assists, 1 turnover. He's been rock solid. Here he is defending Mashburn. And Mashburn gets the bounce for his first points.
And the reason that was able to find the bottom of the well, the misses, a lot of them haven't had proper rotation. You see the importance of having proper rotation on the jump shot, especially with a tight rim. And Audige's very fortunate that they got him.
They did.
You're 35 feet away. You could see him use the term lazy toward his team. He believes they are not going after the loose balls, which have gone Minnesota's way in getting beat on the glass, making lazy passes as well, and a huge reason why they're already down 9-8 minutes into this game.
And you know he's not happy to already have Chase Audige, his leading scorer, on the bench with 2 personals.
You lose a really good defender, but you also lose your leading scorer.
Oh! Inside, Kopp lost it going up.
Good defensive transition by Northwestern to take the run-out opportunity away.
Jamal Mashburn Jr., who's been dominating over the last month of the season, misses the runner, trying to dig out the offensive rebound, and we have a whistle and a jump ball. Patriots. But right now, the talk is all hoops as we get game 1 of the Big 10 tournament underway. Northwestern 1 of 10. It's been a rough start here through the first 8.5 minutes. Tough catch for Nance. Kicks, finding Greer, In and out for Ryan Greer.
Best offensive sequence, even though it came up wanting for Northwestern. You go inside, then you kick it out. That's a shot you can live with.
They just can't get the shots to fall right now. And we mentioned it, but remember, these teams not used to this big of a stadium, and they only had 1 hour to shoot here before the game. They did not practice here yesterday. Baseline jumper doesn't seem to be affecting Boone Gotch.
And a nice job by Enan of coming under control and then kicking it out to Gotch in the short corner.
Gotch, another guy who's been battling a foot injury but playing through it. Robbie Barron can't get it to drop. It's a nightmare start for Northwestern, who in the last 3 in those wins, they've been shooting it so much better. In fact, in the last 3, 39% from 3 after being 30% from 3 in the previous 13 games where they lost all those. But it's 0 of 4 from deep so far. Barry trying to change the narrative. He cannot.
And Northwestern did not force Minnesota to exert any defensive energy. The ball stuck. That was a really easy job by Minnesota because the ball never left the far side of the floor.
These two teams have combined 1 of 13 from outside the arc. Mashburn instead taking it to the basket. 13-2 Minnesota. This really is eerily similar to their February 25th meeting when Minnesota got out in front 17-3. And Greer almost turned it over. And Kopp does.
He walked going toward the basket and eliminating the opportunity for Northwestern to come over and potentially draw a charge.
Mashburn, last 10 games, 12 points a contest, 8 of them in double figures. He has really come on strong here in the latter half of his freshman campaign.
And how about this, Brandon? You have the opportunity, if you're Richard Pitino, you're resting Marcus Carr. This rarely happens, especially this early in the ballgame.
That's a guy that leads the conference in minutes played. Mashburn got up in the air, nowhere to go. Well, there's a shot blocked by Robbie Barron. And then Kopp in transition. 0 of 6 from outside the arc.
A better pass that would have led Kopp into that shot might have had a better chance. He had to kind of reach behind him and reload.
Booth Gotch, he's got 5 early. 16-2, and Chris, you said it, Sean, but this is incredibly rare.
I mean, 2 years in a row, he has led the conference in minutes played, and this is a luxury for Coach Richard Pitino right now to get him a little extra rest.
Barron missing at the rim. Good defense by Curry.
They can get something going to the rim here.
And they do. Shot disrupted. Bowie comes away with it. Gains to Kopp. Kopp in the corner. Yes, and finally a 3 drops down for Miller Kopp.
Compare that 3 missed in this corner where the pass was. That pass led Miller Kopp right into his shooting motion. That's the difference between the one he missed and the one he made. It may be not necessarily the most glamorous thing, but it's an important thing.
Kopp had missed his first 4. Maybe that will get Northwestern going. And there's a travel for Minnesota. The league in points, assists, free throw attempts, and as you said, leads the league yet again this year in minutes played, and he returns guarding Boo Bowie.
Nice pass.
Thought Kopp might let that fly. Instead, he navigates his way to the rim, and there's the tap back.
But a nice job of passing with that skip pass by Young. And then because Kopp knocked down a 3-point shot, they don't close out under control, and he was able to get to the rim and a rare offensive stick back. Nice job by Northwestern out of the timeout.
Little 5-0 run for the Cats after that slow start. Now Trey Williams. Shot clock at 3. He'll take a 3. A tray for Trey, and it's 19-7.
It looked like that offensive sequence was going nowhere because they gave it up to Carr, I think, with the idea he was going to attack, and he gave it right back to Williams.
Last 2 games for Williams, 28 points, 11 rebounds, his best stretch of the season, trying to carry that over to Indianapolis. Kopp contested. Tapping it out, Nance. And a floater from Bowie.
Good job by Bowie of not taking that extra dribble, having that floater in his repertoire, and being able to convert off the back tap. Good offensive sequence last 2 times down the floor for Northwestern.
Here's Williams, hit the 3 a moment ago. Now Carr.
Good job by Gaines of moving his feet. That was outstanding.
Williams just realized there's only 1 on the shot clock and fired it up.
They got a foul, I think. Wants to do, and look where the eyes are of the defender Gaines. They were on the chest all the time of Carr.
And there's the flop warning, Sean.
Now the next time that you see that signal, it'll be a dead ball technical.
And a free throw will be shot if that happens. That's too much for Miller Cobb. He had a really big shooting slump. They thought he shot his way out of it against Nebraska with 12 points, but struggling a little bit here.
We talked about the fact they've had more balance. They were able to overcome an 0 of 11 performance from the floor and beat a very good Maryland team a couple of games ago.
Curry backing down Young. Oh, just a weight room move, but too much.
He dropped that shoulder and displaced him. Good job by Young of maintaining good defensive position.
Just the first foul on Minnesota, if you can believe that, almost 15 minutes in. There's another floater for Bowie. How about that effort? Cobb, though, couldn't get it. Gaines, he gets the steal.
That pass.
Yeah, gave it right back. Now the 2-on-1, but a bad lob. And the last 10 seconds of this game, they're not. I just wish that people could see you when you say those things, Sean, with such gusto.
I don't have many good years left. I don't need to see him throwing unnecessary lob passes.
Bowie, high arcing 3 off the mark. Carr down the lane, beautiful pass, lay in for Curry.
And that's where you just cannot allow him to get going downhill. You have to help out, and a nice job by Carr of delivering that bounce pass with enough muster where it led the recipient right into a shot. Good play by Carr.
Already 3 assists for Carr. We told you he's 3rd in the conference with almost 5 a game. Anthony Gaines got fouled.
Take a pure score and you give him just 4 shots. He has just 2 points, and he took some time on the bench. As Sean pointed out, that's a rarity. Sometimes that's really hard for a guy like Carr, who plays such a heavy load and takes so many shots, to deal with that and still be part of the offense. But the guys are still looking at him as the facilitator. He is doing that, and I think a pure score deserves a lot of credit for not being a guy that's taking a volume number of shots right now, but still clearly the most important offensive player on the floor.
And a guy that is taking some pressure off him is Mashburn, who got the bucket on the other side. But there's the answer by Ryan Young.
And go inside. Again, you don't have to shoot over the top. Now, if you run the double at Ryan Young, make him give it up, and now you can maybe spot up a guy like a Robbie Barron or a Barry, or if he's in the ball game, a Chase Audige.
And we're going the other way, or did they get gained? Up 10, and this is a good sign for them because they have not won a game away from home this year. 0-10. Now, this is a neutral game, Sean, but 0-10 on the road this season.
If they maintain the effort with which they have played, they have a chance to kind of snap that streak. They set the tone early, but to Northwestern's credit, they've responded.
And the rebounding for Northwestern has been better, but there's a bad pass by Young, and then a foul committed on Gaines.
Northwestern on that dead ball situation, going back to the zone defense. Well, that mid post is wide open as someone cuts effectively with their hands shown. And they tried to do the same thing right there with Mashburn. He needed to show his hand.
Another turnover. And we've had 15 of them here in the first half, and Gaines takes it the other way for the bucket.
Boy, Gaines, after only playing 6 minutes against Nebraska, far and away been the most important player thus far for Northwestern. The job he's done defensively on Carr, which you'll see right now, and then that turnover off active hands.
And now, maybe another turnover, and it is. 9 of them for Minnesota. Bowie can't get it. There's Young on the offensive glass, gobbling it up, and that is going to force a time.
Has coincided with the play of Anthony Gaines off the bench. He came in and set the tone, sitting down defensively on Carr. Active hands has kind of frustrated Carr and taken the ball out of his hands and drawn an offensive foul in the early going as well.
Playing like the veteran that he is, redshirt junior.
Good active defense by Northwestern. Nice job.
Carr splits the defenders. Can't get it to drop Johnson. Boy, they are battling inside, and Johnson gets hacked on the arm. He's a warrior, and he battled through.
And that was a big rebound because all the momentum was clearly with Northwestern, and Johnson was able to kind of stem the tide.
Young has it disrupted. Curry grabs it.
Young took his eye off the rim and was worried about the weak side defender rotating over.
We haven't had many.
And that's why if you're Minnesota, you want to continue to attack the rim. This is an outstanding foul shooting team, 76% overall.
That was the second foul on Barry. So for Northwestern, you have both Barry and Audige with 2 personals.
Good job by Carr moving his feet on Kopp.
A little bit of a dangerous pass, but bailed out by the... Pete Nance yet to score. Bowie amongst the trees, out to Nance, and there is the first bucket for the junior. .30 seconds left in the half. Gaines, who's had a great first 20 minutes defending Minnesota's leader, Marcus Carr. Four to shoot. Williams now Gotch in the corner. Gaines with a rebound. One final chance here for the Cats to draw closer. And instead, they turn it over. Bowie will inbound. And Nance just heaves it up at the rim. Not the lure for the Gophers can get back on track here in the second half. Sean, besides Carr not scoring and Gaines kind of providing a spark, what else allowed Northwestern to get back in this ball game?
A lot of hustle plays. Those were all 50-50 balls, and everything else was going to Minnesota. They provided a lift, and it's made even more impressive, Brandon, because last time out, Gaines only got 6 minutes against Northwestern, or against Nebraska, rather.
And that was a season low, and it's a guy in Gaines that averages over 20 a contest. Tough shot from Mashburn, and a rebound comes to Audige. Remember, Audige was limited in the first half to 6 minutes with 2 fouls. And a bad pass by Carr.
That's just his feet, and Carr had taken one dribble too deep. When he was able to extend that arm, it really forced Carr to just throw the ball into the scorer's table. Minnesota
only averages 11 turnovers a game. They already have 10. Bowie getting downhill and then finding Chase Audige.
Not a bad shot. It comes off dribble penetration and it forced Minnesota to exert some energy defensively.
And there now they do have 11 turnovers, tying their season average. Audige, I think he was trying to get it to Nance. And then Audige is going to take it right back.
I mean, both teams are just being so loose with the basketball, making one-hand passes.
20 turnovers combined between the two.
Seisman's match. He's got to take advantage. Nice job of moving without the basketball, because Nance understood, look, if they don't make that dive cut, he is going to back Mashburn Jr. right underneath the rim. But a good strong cut in Northwestern, coming up and picking up where they left off in the last 7 or 8 minutes of the first half.
And the first bucket by Robbie Barron. You see Minnesota last field goal was with 4 minutes on the clock in the first half. Carr, and he's fouled.
Northwestern that because Curry knew he had to come down there and help a smaller teammate, and Barron also recognized it.
Cold three-point shooting continues, but a long offensive rebound. Mashburn, no foul.
Good job by Williams of being there on the catch.
Oh! Cobb stopping on a dime, but he doesn't get the bounce. The cold shooting, 25% for Northwestern, under 35% from Minnesota.
Well, they're running 2 bodies at Carr every time.
But Curry fight at the mid-range. I guess if they're running 2 bodies at Carr, some other guys obviously are going to have to step up.
Have to deliver, and a good job by Curry of making himself available.
That's a foul when you look at a stat like that, because he is a good shooter. But there you go, 1 of 3 on that trip. So Mashburn sits down with those 3 fouls. Minnesota by a half dozen.
Nice job by Audige. He doesn't need to bail him out by reaching. He did a very good job of moving his feet. Don't pick up an unnecessary foul.
Johnson tried it inside, no.
Good job again by Williams of forcing Cobb to put the ball on the floor.
Oh, Bowie. Bowie and Audige, 2 guys that average double figures if it combined for just 3 points. Cobb underneath. Great pass to Barrett, but an offensive foul. Wake.
If you are defending Miller Cobb, he's such a good shooter. Make him try to be a playmaker for someone else rather than a play finisher in his own right. Good job by Johnson of rotating over.
Just the first foul on Cobb.
Good strong show there by Barron to help out Bowie. I mean, that's just an awful pass, Brandon.
And it's going to lead to Chase Audige by himself for the slam.
That's a lazy pass from the short corner. And turnovers, points off turnovers haven't necessarily been a huge issue, but they're starting to become one for Minnesota.
10 points off the turnovers for Northwestern. Good response on the other side. Trey Williams hits the shot.
Tournament title potentially for some of these squads. And, you know, even so, there are some teams, Brandon, that, you know, are essentially assured of getting a bid. You want to go in with momentum. And that's what makes all of these games so important, especially since the NCAA tournament is going to be played in this location.
Yep, right here, Lucas Oil Stadium. Bowie. Nice floater.
Second time he's done that, and a really good job of not taking that extra dribble and potentially allowing Minnesota to rotate over and create a turnover with an offensive foul.
Yep. All 4 of Bowie's points, to your point, Sean, off those floaters, is yet to hit from outside the arc.
Well, Audige doing a really, really good job.
Though a lot more in the next 4 or 5 minutes here, Brandon.
Yeah, Rick, 7 straight losses. And Marcus Carr, who gives you 20 a game, Sean, 2 points, 1 of 5 from the field.
And Audige and Gaines have done a masterful job of frustrating him. And if you're North live ball turnover, that has been something that has allowed them to creep back in, because Minnesota has not been as fortunate. They've had far more live ball turnovers than have the Wildcats.
Saw Carr's numbers last game as well against Rutgers, just 1 of 13. He was scoreless until the final couple of minutes, and now another Minnesota issue. I mean, I think there has been 5 times, Sean, where we've seen a turnover.
Back, if you're making a standard 2-handed pass, if you see a defender snake in there, you can pull it back in. If you're trying to make a 1-handed pass, you don't have that option.
Minnesota's season high in Big 10 play for turnovers was 17. They're already 2 away from that with still 14 minutes.
I mean, look at the shot clock. I mean, half of it's gone, and they haven't had anything remotely approaching going toward the rim.
That goes toward the rim, off the mark by Johnson. Boo-booey, nice fake. Young. And he's fouled by Brandon Johnson against Michigan State, Indiana, Ohio State. Then they lost 13 in a row. Then they won their last 3. And they battled back to within 4 here.
And Brendan, I think what you've seen is a cumulative effect on Marcus Carr. I think the play of Gaines and Audige has really frustrated Carr. Good move. Nice job by Barry. You can live with that. He did a very good job of moving his feet, but Mashburn able to get his feet situated. That was a difficult shot. Good defense, better offense.
Mashburn becomes the first player on either team in double figures. He has 10. Ryan Young. Young, who hit the game winner the last 2 contests for Northwestern. Now Audige, tough step back. Look at Young.
Nice job by Young. Even though he doesn't corral it, it keeps the play alive. Those are the plays Minnesota was making at the opening of the ball game.
Yeah, Carr just can't get free shots.
No. And you have to credit both of the primary defenders, Audige and Gaines, for that.
Offensive rebound for Curry. Here's Carr again. Just no space.
And two bodies run out. Nice job by Barry. Really good job.
And again, it's an Audige leak out.
And you contrast the points off turnover. Both teams are fairly even in the turnover category, but points off, as we see right there, to the decided advantage of Northwestern.
Plus 10 for the Cats.
Most importantly for Northwestern, a kick ahead and a momentum-changing basket potentially in the open floor.
Barry does have 3 fouls, and speaking of fouls,
and enthusiasm from Minnesota.
Williams missing the free throw off of Northwestern.
Had a once-in-a-lifetime shooting exhibition against Iowa where he knocked down a lot of threes, but he is a really meat and potatoes type of player. The field goals may not show up, but they've needed every rebound here this evening.
That was a heck of a performance on Christmas against the Hawkeyes when he had 26, hit 8 threes. Oh, another offensive board, this time Enan. And now it's Carr, and Carr again missing. But it stays here. The Big 10 tournament has been held here, 12th time in Indianapolis. The other 11 over at Bankers Life Fieldhouse.
And again, on that dead ball situation, Northwestern extending. Looks like a 3-2. That high post, you have to have your hands ready. Even if he was looking at that was going to be a turnover, poor passing decision once again by Minnesota.
3rd steal for Audige. And then a rejection on the other side by Sam Freeman.
And I tell you, a nice job by Freeman. There's no way.
And Greer had lost his footing, couldn't get any momentum on the shot. Those 35 steals, though, in Big 10 play for Audige, 2nd most in the conference. Kopp with a left hand gets the roll.
Really nice job by Kopp of getting that shoulder into the rotating defender from Minnesota and creating that angle. Nice job by Kopp off the dribble.
Once again, a 4-point game. Northwestern has trailed the entire way. Minnesota jumped out to a 16-2 lead in the first half. Freeman leaning in and a foul.
No need to foul that.
Missing both free throws, so an opportunity for Northwestern, Sean, to make this a 1-possession game.
Nice reversal. Good job of getting the defense flowing one way and coming back the other. Good mismatch. Excellent. Excellent job by Northwestern. They force Minnesota to defend everywhere. They get the size mismatch with Young, and he makes the proper pass out of the double team, which allowed Bowie to step into that 3.
Just the 3rd 3 in this game for Northwestern, but it pulls the Cats within 1. Freeman shot fake. And up with the left hand.
Nice job by Sam Freeman of keeping that pivot foot anchored and then going with the offhand.
He averages less than a point a game, but you wouldn't know it on that possession. Carr almost had the steal.
Offense starting to pickle in September and October with the footwork drills put forth by Minnesota.
And Nance running into Johnson, and they're going to get the blocking.
Because of that, he's able to get knocked off balance, whether it's down in the block or off the dribble drive.
Another foul, this time against Kirk. Designed inbound play, but caught missing. And it'll be Minnesota basketball.
Kind of was fighting his feet and fading away. When he's at his most effective, as most players are, it's when you come up and then land in essentially the same spot. He kind of was fighting his feet on that release, but a wonderful, wonderful job of setting up that opportunity.
Marcus Carr still with 2 points. What an effort by Audige.
And Carr is getting frustrated right now. So if you are Northwestern, go at Carr defensively. I get it to Audige, clear it out, and force Carr to make a play on this end of the floor because he's getting visibly frustrated here.
Instead, it's Nance. And we are tied for the first time since it was 0-0. And a chance for the Cats to get their first lead. Audige. Knocked out of bounds. Nance. That time missing. That was similar to the cop play, but on the other side of the floor.
Some really well-designed out-of-bounds plays for Northwestern here this evening.
Yeah, you said it. Chris Collins good at drawing those up. And they're going to get Audige.
That shooting pocket, just an outstanding individual defensive effort for Chase Audige.
And Carr going to the bench.
You know, I like this decision because now, look at the clock. You're coming up on the under-8 media timeout. Let him calm down a little bit. He's not going to miss a whole lot of game time, but it gives you a chance to, you know, maybe settle him down a little bit.
Well, he's forward. Young, patient in the lane, can't get it.
Good job of walling up there and forcing Young to kind of fade away.
Northwestern still just 31% from the field. Minnesota, 37%.
I mean, they could set up a backdoor for Gotch because Bowie is really hopping that passing angle if they clear out that side of the floor.
Shot clock at 5. Johnson. No, that did everything but drop. The winner will play Ohio State at approximately 2 o'clock Eastern tomorrow. We are all even. Kopp underneath. No. Got his own ball back, put it in, and there's Northwestern's first lead.
Nice job by Kopp of not giving up on the play. You saw yellow jerseys reaching for the ball. Kopp pursued it.
10-2 run for a Northwestern team that trailed by 14 in the first half. Curry. No.
They are frustrating Marcus Carr. They are doing a masterful job of executing their defensive game plan, running a variety of primary defenders, and in that case, a secondary defender, Adam, to force him to give the ball up.
Cats trying to add to that 10-2 run. Here's Gaines.
Good job by Gaines of passing and then vacating.
So it's one-on-one for Nance. Hook shot, in and out.
Really smart play by Gaines, not staying on that side of the floor and keeping his defender there.
And then Nance picking.
24 of 29 versus the Scarlet Knights. This is where they have to go. And Marcus Carr, unusual that he would miss the front end, but I think the frustration that Northwestern has imposed on him defensively is starting to shine through here a little bit.
Yeah, he's an 82% foul shooter, but he is out of sorts. 2 points, 1 of 7 for the field. And now it's Northwestern heading to the offensive. Audige with the free throw. Now a 3-point Northwestern lead. Scoring drought for Minnesota of over 4 minutes. God's trying to stop that drought. He cannot. Audige bringing it the other direction. Chris Collins directing traffic on the sideline. These two head coaches, Collins and Pitino, both in their 8th year, came in the league together back in 2013. Audige trying to fit it in, and he turns it over.
Nice. See, now that's what you need to do. You have to pinch down on him because he has the opportunity to maybe get a stick back, and they don't. Fortunately for Northwestern, they're able to get the ball.
The free throws not dropping on either side right now. Nance, though, getting the offensive rebound and muscling it back up and in.
And if you're Minnesota, you compounded the mistake. You had Nance pinned against that baseline. Don't allow him to come back into the field of play and score.
13-3 run over the last 6+ minutes. This Minnesota field goal drought starting to become a real issue. Inside, again a miss by Curry.
And Curry spun back into the pressure. If he was able to go and score with that left hand, he'd have been able to convert. But because he came back to the strong hand, he spun right back into the defender for Northwestern.
Barron knocking down the 3, and Northwestern all of a sudden has a 7-point lead. That's a 21-point swing from when they were down 14 in the first half. Mashburn Jr. to the line. Boo Booey at almost 6 minutes. And the free throw shooting, yeah. I mean, Sean, they're 6 of 15 at the line. Now, Northwestern not much better. They're 5 of 10.
But this is a team that is 76% coming in. They've gotten there. They just haven't been able to convert.
Great look for Kopp.
However, look, Northwestern with 10 fouls. So you keep driving the basketball if you're Minnesota and try to play the numbers, because even any common foul now will send you to the line for 2.
Trey Williams hit one at the beginning of the game and knocks that one down there.
Well, he's got a funky rotation,
but it works.
It works.
Well, he's got 14 to lead the way. Approaching the 3-minute mark. Bowie, another teardrop, and this time hit on the wrist.
They've kind of struggled. Keep an eye on them.
Both free throws missed for Bowie. Remember, Northwestern beat Ohio State. That was part of their 3 wins to begin conference play, before losing the 13 in a row.
And with Audige in there with the 4 fouls, look, drive at it. Force him to make a decision.
Audige almost got the steal. Carr, fade away. Yes, finally, his 2nd field goal made of the night. And although at times there have been turnovers, miscues, cold shooting, bottom line is we got a 1-point game inside of 2.5.
Good job by Carr moving his feet there on Audige.
Kopp.
Strong show by Curry. Good defensive sequence thus far for Minnesota.
And a sequence continues very strongly. Taking it away, Brandon Johnson.
Nance made the mistake of showing the ball to Johnson, and Johnson took advantage.
Minnesota can get the lead back here. Carr. Yes. Sometimes big players step up at the end of games. Carr's starting to do that again.
And you could see Audige, because he has the foot.
Bowie drive and kick, Nance, and he gives it up to Kopp. Kopp, little runner, no. Rebound coming down to Curry. Gophers trying to add now to their 8-0 run as we hit the 92nd mark.
And Northwestern mixing it up, going to his own defense, which has really stymied Minnesota for long periods of time in this ballgame.
They struggled to shoot it from three. Again, 5 of 19. Johnson, jump stop. Ball working around the arc, and Carr got hit by Bowie. Point lead.
Plenty of time for both of these teams. Continue to attack. If you want to turn it into a foul shooting contest, you can certainly do that.
Over 4 minutes without a Northwestern field goal. Bowie to tie us up. No. In Minnesota, no hurry. Richard Pitino says, calm down, work some clock.
And again, Northwestern going to that zone defense. Coach Richard Pitino will allow Minnesota to keep this possession alive with an offensive rebound and reset it to 20.
Trey Williams, who has 14 points to lead the Gophers. But it's Carr again. No. Bowie sprinting the other way and has it taken from behind. And then Bowie almost got it back, but it belongs to...
And there's not a deep defender, so they're going to send a couple of guys deep. Nice job, and that's what allows Carr to get the ball.
Carr in trouble. Who it was. Bailed out by a Robbie Barron foul. Makes it a 2-possession game. So it stays at 4 points. Northwestern needing something quickly, and Bowie almost had it stolen again. Adij looking, throwing it into Nance. Backing down Johnson. Oh, he tripped. Did he travel? Yes.
In basketball position, and that's what allowed him to get off balance.
Getting it into Carr. And Northwestern.
Because what this forces Northwestern to do is go side to side. That's exactly what, to burn some valuable clock if you are Minnesota.
Kopp, no. And a foul, and that's going to be on. Say that because unless Gaines leaves, everybody should be back for the Wildcats, but not enough tonight.